Police on Thursday clashed with protesters in Nairobi before planned protests against a contentious finance bill, despite the president's decision not to sign it after the plan sparked deadly chaos in the capital and saw protesters storming and burning part of.
Hello, my beautiful African people. Welcome back to Hail and Ride Africa YouTube channel. Today we are asking the question: why is it that in Africa, when the youth protest, the politicians turn it into bloody? The Africans have the history of this type of things happening or repeating itself in different African countries. Recently we see what is happening in Kenya, where the youth are protesting about increasing tax. And we saw what, how the politician over there, especially the President Ruto, turned this protest into a bloody massacre for the youth. The same thing happens 3 years ago in Nigeria. The Nigeria own was so notorious, and I think this is complete massacre of the youth in Nigeria, Lekki to Gate Square. The same thing happens, 14 years ago in Egypt, in Tahrir Square. We see anytime the youth, want to make their voice heard by protesting, just ordinary protest, the politicians in Africa turn it into bloody, into a mess, a huge mess for the youth. And when you look at these videos, I just bring it straight, for the past 14 years, you see the video, you see this youth protesting in Africa and see how it turns always bloody. And I will come back to talk more about what is happening in Kenya and how this current president turned it into a mess, a huge mess, and a loss for the whole country.
Police on Thursday clashed with protesters in Nairobi before planned protests against a contentious finance bill, despite the president's decision not to sign it after the plan sparked deadly chaos in the capital and saw protesters storming and burning part of the parliament building. Police on Thursday hurled tear gas canisters at a group of protesters attempting to congregate within the central business district.
We currently have a president who is not a president. This president, William Samoei Ruto, is following his orders of the Constitution. The Constitution states very well that the government is the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. And now we're going to change Kenya to be the rule of the youths.
The military has been patrolling the city despite a Wednesday court order that suspended their deployment to support police during the protests. Protesters who said last week they would march to the State House on Thursday say they still don't trust President William Ruto, who has said the tax hikes would be withdrawn and budget cuts would be made.
After seeing bodies being thrown into the truck, I felt I was going to die there. I'm yet to process what I lived through in the past 3 days. I don't know what I feel. The one thing I know is the truth has to be told. Whilst we were there Wednesday morning, trying to sort out care for people, more people arrived in the hospital with gunshot wounds. There was a teenage boy who couldn't have been more than 13. His arm was blown out. A child.
Yes, welcome back again as we continue with this. What is happening? What is wrong with the youth in expressing their concerns in the country where they come from? This is their own country. They are not demonstrating in another person's country. This is their motherland, or I can call it fatherland. They have every right to protest in a democracy, but we know that Africa doesn't have a democracy. They have democracy in papers, but in reality, there's no democracy, because if there is democracy, for example, in this Kenya, if you are in Europe or in America, the politicians are talking about how to cut tax. You know what I mean? If you're in UK, you heard about they want to cut tax, not to increase it. But this president, who have been traveling since he took power less than 2 years ago, and they have been traveling, making more than 60 something trips abroad. He doesn't listen to people. This is what's happened with people. Sometimes people get carried away by what the politicians say, because he can. If you listen to the man, you think that he's a nice person. I mean, Mr. Ruto, the current president of Kenya. If you listen to him, you will think that he's a nice person. But this stuff that happens in Kenya, this protest, how he handled it, showed that he's not a good person, and he is not in support of his own people. That's what it seems to be. And remember that this coward called himself Ruto, he wanted, I don't know, the West is sponsoring him to go to Haiti to fight the gangs member there. But back home, he can't even control his own police, and he want to go to a different country that are not in Africa, that's not in Africa, to keep peace there. How is it going to be possible? You see, he's going to send people there, and the gang will turn against them. And, the worst might happen to these policemen or military or soldiers he's sending there. Just like you will see with the way he handled this protest. And people are, even the youth, some of the youth are now saying that he should resign. But honestly, he should resign, because if you're a good leader, this is the time to show it, and he failed to show it. Even if he didn't resign, there is no his political career will be ended, except if he's gonna continue in power with the dubious means we see in other African countries when they conduct election. But if the man is gonna finish this tenure and they want to come back again a second tenure, it's gonna be very difficult for the youth to vote for him regarding this. The way he handled this protest. He handled it badly. And he can go back again to do the right thing. It's late now for him. And it's done politically, except if he started manipulating the politics there. If not, there's no way the youth will vote for him. And if I'm a president of a country in Africa, for example, my priority will be the youth, because they say that the youth are the leaders of tomorrow. And if they raise any concern, I'll pay attention. You have to pay attention to the youth. If you don't pay attention to the youth, who are you going to pay attention to? Are you going to pay more attention to the elderly that will not contribute in the workforce in that country? They're already retired. It's the youth that will run the economy, But instead of the man to listen to the concerns of the youth, because they don't just started protesting for nothing. They start protesting because you try to make their life difficult. Because when you increase the tax, you make their life difficult. Even any money they are earning, they're gonna pay more to the government, and the government are not even creating jobs in Africa, as we see. And the few that are working, you want to take all their money through the taxes. So this is too bad, that this is happening to our youth, African youth. And I feel the concern of this Kenyan youth that came out to protest, show their concern, and it's something to admire. That courage they have, because sometimes because of fear of the politicians, because they have they're in charge of the military part of the government. They can unleash this kind of stuff we see in Nigeria or in Egypt, and recently in Kenya to their own people. What are you going to gain if you unalive your own people, especially youth that you're supposed to protect them? So we stand with the Kenyan youth. You know what I mean? We feel their concern. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like our YouTube channel and subscribe. And if you disagree with us, you let us know in comment section. I'm your Bratan, the mood that the Russians caused me. Peace.